Ok.
Stisnem ok?
Ne trebaš ništa stisnuti. Ja još samo moram napraviti rename. Sam sekundu. Da piše Loka-Pavani. Ok. Tak i tak će oni to editirati, pa onda.
Dobro.
Okay. Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome everyone to the Healthy Families Campaign 2025, which is brought to you by the ISKCON Vaishnavi Ministry. Today, we're joined in with Sundarananda Prabhu from Zagreb. I will introduce him, but before that, I would just like to announce today's topic. So we're going to talk about mothers, because soon there will be a Mother's Day that everyone is celebrating. So we want to explore what Vedas say about mothers. So as we know, mother is someone who is very important in lives of all of us. First of all, she gives us birth, but it's not only the biological mother that the Vedas mention as someone who should be respected as a mother, but there are 7 mothers. So the real mother, as I mentioned, the wife of the spiritual master, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. So all these 7 are considered to be mothers. And today, with Sundarananda Prabhu, we're going to address the wife of a Brahmana, or Yagyapati, as they call it in Sanskrit. And we're going to talk about significance of a wife of a Brahmana in life of a society, family, and generally speaking. But before that, we will say prayers for blessings. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Bhavani Pracharine Vishesha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhyacha Patitanam Pamadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay, so I would like to introduce Sundarananda Prabhu, who is a practitioner of Bhakti Yoga for more than 35 years. He comes from Zagreb, Croatia, and he dedicated his life for spreading the wisdom of the Vedas and the wisdom of Bhakti Yoga. He has been a monk for 10 years and temple president of ISKCON temple in Zagreb for 15 years. He's also one of the founders of, actually a founder of the College for Vedic Studies and Bhakti Yoga Center in Zagreb, and also founder of the project which is called Soul Food, which is aimed at prasadam distribution and self-sufficient living, right? That I got it. Good. And also, you always like to say for yourself that you are a disciple, eternal disciple of a culture of selflessness, right? Which is the culture that's part of the Bhakti Yoga. So I would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, dear Loka-Pavani, for inviting me. And Hare Krishna and greetings to everyone who is listening this conversation. Just a small, correction. Center for Vedic Studies, it's not like a college. It's more like NGO through which we are trying to, you are part of this too, obviously, and we are trying to share with the people the knowledge of Vedas in especially Bhakti Yoga in a modern context, we can say like this. because when you say college, then people can think it's like something, much more, I mean, it's serious, but it's not so official in that sense.
Yes, thank you. But anyway, I mean, it is serious. You have 4 times a week, at least, programs.
Yeah, part-time.
So, but thank you. I mean, this college exists for quite some time, so it had many projects through that. So, thank you. And I mean, you're also, as one of the founders, you're also a person who teaches the Vedic knowledge. So that's why I thought it would be very nice if you could speak a little bit about the topic of mothers in Vedic society. And especially today, we're going to discuss a wife of a Brahmana. And so, according to the Vedas, it seems that this concept of the mother it goes beyond the biological mother. So maybe you can tell us a little bit generally, like the notion of mother in the Vedas, what it represents, and then we can talk specifically about the wife of a Brahmana.
Well, we learn from Vedic knowledge that the two main principles of education in ancient Vedic time is to learn how to control mind and senses, and to learn to respect everyone. Yeah, in that sense, obviously that a role of a mother as such is very unique and very, very specific. And it's really privileged to discuss about such a things. And I guess that ladies who are mothers can share much more wisdom than I can. But let's give few paisa of word of our some small realization. Also, I would like to mention that Lord Chaitanya, also it's described that Lord Chaitanya is Namo Mahavadanyaya, the most merciful incarnation of Krishna. And he has come to give the greatest treasure, pure prema, to everyone. And the only price which is needed to be paid is little humility, little. And it was described that even if someone is in exalted position of sannyasi, such a person can fall down if how to say, misses to show respect to every living beings. And in that sense, we can say that everyone, as a part and parcel of Krishna, is worthy of being respected, but especially mothers, because the sacrifice which mother gives to not just to child, but also to maintain the family, to sustain the family, is just, there is no comparison. And unfortunately, very often, not just in a Vedic tradition, but in other spiritual tradition, the role of the woman, of the mother, is very much neglected very often, because of different reasons. We can go now in some other discussions, but we can say that the role of the woman and the mother, and every woman is potentially mother, in the sense that we address in Krishna consciousness every woman or as a Prabhu or as a Mataji. It's the same, in the sense that you're my master, because devotee will address everyone as a Dasasmi, you are my Prabhu. Doesn't matter of the gender. But also we address ladies as a Mataji. In the sense, Mata means mother. Mataji means like a superlative. I think I don't know how it's called in English, but it's like when you give special admiration to someone. And why? Because the role of the woman, of the mother, is very unique and very specific. Without mother, no one can get the body, and without human body, we can hardly practice Krishna consciousness. There are some incidents that like Shivananda Sena delivered the dog. I mean, Shivananda Sena and Lord Chaitanya, we have several examples of animals who have become pure devotees of Krishna. But generally, it's very hard to become Krishna conscious in other bodies. But in a human body, we can do that. It's special blessing, and this blessing is received through the mother. Not just by giving the birth to the child, but also to maintain child in a womb for a certain period of time, 9 months, etc. The whole process is very, very unique. In a culture, I don't know how it's in Anglo-Saxon culture or other cultures, but in our Croatian culture, where I was raised, when woman is pregnant, we say it's like a holy state. And usually when women are pregnant, they're enlightened because they carry another life. And we know that soul is a part of Krishna, and together with the soul, super soul also embodied the body. And we can say that double Krishna is present in that person. And it's unique. I can say that it's not by chance that this state of being is called, at least in Croatian language, it's called like blaženo stanje, means like holy state, something like that, or enlightened state, or how you can translate?
Blessed, like
Blessed.
because
Yeah, blessed.
Christianity, we say that Mary or all the other women in the Bible, they always they tell people, address them like you are blessed, like
Yeah.
blessed state, something like that. Yeah.
So in that sense, the mother ensures the protection of the coming child, newborn child, and when child is born, mother sustains the child. Child is fully dependent on mother, and mother is first guru to the child. Because through the mother, child starts to be introduced to the world, and then later on child gets another gurus like a father, siblings, or eventually teacher, guru, whatever. But it's very, very, when we contemplate like that, then it's really amazing. Once I remember His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj told a story on a class how sometimes due to our how to say, the immaturity when we are young, we cannot express enough gratitude to our parents, especially to mother, etc. And then he told the story how his mother told him when she was pregnant with him, she had to walk for I don't know how long, practically barefoot, to the hospital to give the birth to the child. And then she maintained the children, and then when he grew up, when he become more, I mean, he's serving as a preacher, as a guru. Guru is someone who is sustained disciples also. And he said, when I became more mature, I have become so grateful to my mother, because I understood that I neglected to give her credit which she deserves. Because we take it for granted, we live with our family, mother is here, it's like natural that mother takes care of her kids. But sometimes or often we can see that many children then they don't have such opportunity to have proper mother, or due to the different reasons, maybe accident or premature death or whatever. And it's completely different because many how to say, sociologists, they analyze and they study this relationship between mother and children. And if children is nourished with the love properly in the childhood, it's so how to say, so important to item of development of personality of the children. our dear Kaunteya Prabhu has whole theory how long child should be breastfed, and just to be properly nourished and get this strength, which is strength of love, which is coming from mother. And also we can say that, as I said, that even if woman is not biological mother to the child, let's say, this motherly feelings are always present in a woman. And these motherly feelings are very needed for society to grow up properly too. Not just individual, but society as such. If we would, let's say, have just a like masculine society, it would be very, very gross. It would be rough. I mean, very gross, rough. And very often with a great lack of empathy, compassion, and sympathy, or what all these profound feelings which are needed, that everyone feels good, actually. You mentioned that I was serving as a temple president for 15 years. And yeah, I had experience that when you have although in original Vedic culture was not usual that ladies and men live together in ashram. Prabhupada meant this. I created this concession. I don't know how to say it. He approved this because he saw that on the West, boys and girls they're anyway mixing from the childhood together. But I had experiences when I had just men in the temple, and I had experience when we had, men and women in the temple. And when you have just a man, then it's everything is based just on austerity, which often makes very, how to say,
Hardens the heart.
sorry,
Hardens the heart. Makes
yeah,
the
hardens the heart. And when you have a woman in a temple, then there is a balance. And once my spiritual master said that when we advance, and Bhaktitirtha Maharaj also writes about this in his Spiritual Warrior second part, when we advance in Krishna consciousness, we develop also both qualities, male and female qualities. Female qualities are actually compassion, love, compassion. And without these qualities, as individuals and as a society, we cannot sustain properly. And in that sense, we can just broaden the idea of importance of a woman, or I mean, role of the mother in a life of individual and community as such.
Thank you. And the wife of a Brahmana. So why do the Vedas consider her also as one of the mothers? What is her significance in that sense?
In original schooling system in ancient time of Vedas, there were no institution as a school, but there was a gurukula, or place of guru, where kids, boys were sent in, especially from the higher orders of society, like Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana. I think that in a category of Brahmana, when boys are 5, they were sent to Gurukula. In Kshatriya, when boys are 6, they're sent to Gurukula, and Vaishya boys, they would send to Gurukula at the age of 7. That means that they would stay at the place of Guru, and the Guru was usually householder who dedicated his life to educate kids, but not just to educate them in a different academical aspects, but also to educate them in a character and in values. And in order to do that, then should be balanced energy, male and female. And in that sense, wife of Guru or wife of Brahmana represent the mother, because she is the main assistant of the Guru. It's not Guru alone, but together with his wife, they would take care about the different children and then give them nourishment in both ways, not just, in austerities and, this like masculine disciplines, but also in very gentle aspects of life, etc. Another thing is that there are like 6 occupation of the Brahmana: practicing austerity and teaching others how to practice austerity, then accepting charity, distributing charity, and also doing yagya and learning and engaging others in doing yagya. And yagya can be successful only if a wife of Brahmana is also present. If she's not present, then yagya cannot be completed in that sense. And the boys in Gurukula, they also learn how to do different yagyas. Because it was not the idea that after the Gurukula, everyone will become like sannyasi. No, they are trained as a brahmacharis because of the higher purpose, to learn how, not brahmacharis superficially, because of, this is like recognized as something very special. No, but brahmacharya in sense of real meaning of brahmacharya. That means controlling mind and senses, and especially sexual urge. And also the most important thing of brahmacharya life, being rooted in a Brahman, or being rooted in understanding spiritual source of everything and your own spiritual identity. And then after the education, majority of brahmacharis would marry, and then they will use the knowledge and values they learn in their family life. And one of the things they learn also, how to respect the wife, how to take care for the wife, and then how to make facility for wife to assist you in a life, I mean him in a life, and also in doing different yagyas, etc. So in that sense, we can say that Brahmana without Brahmani wife is not complete thing. It's actually one thing. The whole package is both Brahmana and his wife.
As this, what you described now is something that was like going on in some previous times. Today is like a modern world that looks a little bit different than what you now described. So how can we now see the role of a Brahmana's wife and look at her as a mother in today's, I don't know, society? Like, for example, I will not only say like India, because in India, I think it is still preserved in that sense, but maybe in the West where now Krishna consciousness is practiced. So maybe.
Do you ask me this question in the context of Hare Krishna movement or practicing Krishna consciousness, or as a general?
Both.
Both. Okay. I mean, I purposefully said in the beginning that the 2 main aspects of education in Vedic culture is respect, learning how to respect everyone, and learning how to control mind and senses. If you learn how to respect everyone, then we will automatically respect women no matter what. Sometimes, as I said also, that in the different spiritual traditions, including Vedic, sometimes it's like overemphasize the role of the man. We hear that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even less intelligent Vaishyas, Shudras, and women.
Yes.
And this subject matter should be properly addressed. From the perspective that in Vedic time, the demand of the man was such high that man is supposed to be practically Superman. And no one can follow this standard today. But if you analyze the lives of the heroes of the Bhagavata, Mahabharata, etc., like Pandavas, great Kshatriyas, great Brahmanas, they have been so empowered by amazing qualities and the demand of the duties they have to do was such that they're supposed to be like superheroes. Yeah. And in comparison with them, there was no such expectation from the side of the ladies. And in that context, when Krishna says like less intelligent, that doesn't mean that ladies are inferior. Not, but it's in a context of what was expected from the man. By coming Kali Yuga, as a Kali Yuga approached and interfered in our lives, it started, everything was degraded. The Brahmanas first were degraded, then Kshatriyas were degraded, then every Vaishyas too, Shudras, and practically we are all on the same level. And now, for a common man, it's practically impossible to maintain wife and family alone. He needs even support of a wife. And I can say that a very fortunate wife is one who does not need to go for a job every day. Sometimes we have even completely changed the roles. We see that ladies are much more spiritual in this age, much more spiritually inclined. And majority ladies are much more sharp in intelligence, understanding, and percentage of highly educated people. I think that women are now more than men. And sometimes because of that, men sends women to work because of the title and education. She can earn more money than he, and then he takes care for the children. We have like opposite situations in the name of maintaining the families. So everything is topsy-turvy now. But how to understand then the role of man and woman? I think that Srila Prabhupada created ISKCON to create the society of Brahmanas. That means Vaishnava is automatically considered superior than Brahmana, because Vaishnava, automatically by default, Vaishnava follows the Dharma of Brahmana too, or sadhana of Brahmana. You know, when we see what is the like average sadhana of common devotee, that means actually life of Brahminical standard. And plus, we learn the science of Krishna, which is superior than just living on the level of following Brahmana Dharma. And in that sense, doesn't matter if someone is a man in the body of man or woman, Vaishnava is superior than that. And the basis of our philosophy is that we are not this body. But sometimes it appears that everyone is not this body except woman, even in a Hare Krishna moment. And we are also confused sometimes, because sometimes Western devotees, they spend a lot of time in India and they catch up this Orthodox patriarchal system, which is very common in India. And they try to implement this in a Western culture too, and it becomes sometimes very obnoxious, I can say. So we should be focused on the essence of the Vaishnava theology, and that means that everyone who surrenders to Krishna should be treated as a pure devotee, even if this devotee is a sadhaka. If he follows the path of liberated souls, it should be considered as a liberated person. And then from that platform, we can say that everyone is worthy of respect. And plus, we said that understanding that everyone is constitutionally the part and parcel of Krishna, and in everyone's body, Krishna resides in the heart of, as a Paramatma, and in hearts of devotee as a Radha and Krishna, then everyone should be respected properly, actually. And if we would develop such a mentality, I guess Hare Krishna movement would be the most attractive spiritual community which exists on the planet. And in theory, Our theology is wonderful, but in implementation, there is a lot of room for improvement, we can say. And sometimes, if man shows the proper respect and care for the ladies, he will be considered problematic. Like, you know, he has a problem with the woman because it will be interpreted as attachment. But attachment is something else. I think that every woman can recognize when man is attached sexually or whatever, because it's a different energy. And sometimes those who are very attached in that way, when they see that someone is kind to women, they cannot understand how this person can be kind and not be attached. And this detachment is a part of our maturing in Krishna consciousness. And I think the most important thing is that we should start to think about each other as a person, not as a man and a woman only. Because when man sees the woman, it's either mother or object of attraction. But if you see the woman as a person, individual, who has a right to have her own desires, aspirations, and which are just her own autonomy, not connected necessarily with certain men in any way, then we will get actually proper atmosphere in our relationships. But unfortunately, being in a man's body, that means being embodied with the Purusha mentality. Generally, if we are not trained properly, man immediately sees the woman as an object, not as first as an object, then eventually as a person. But if he starts to see woman as a person, then we will have gentlemanly respect for the individuality of this person who has choose whatever this person wants, especially if these desires are directed to Krishna and Krishna consciousness, and this should be respected. And in that sense, when we have such understanding, then we will understand properly the role of the woman in any category, as a mother, as a wife of Brahmana, as a wife of king, wife of guru, nurse, whatever position of mother is how to say described in the Veda for a woman, and everything would be very fine. But we need to be educated properly. I assume like that.
Thank you. I liked how you connected everything, like the society of Brahmana. What does it mean actually to be a Vaishnava, actually to follow the Brahminical culture? And actually, in that sense, I would also say that when you refer to the ladies in, because we are now talking about ISKCON, because this is a podcast from Vaishnavi ministry, then it would be easier to understand this respect that someone as a wife of a Brahmana or as a Brahmana, Brahmani, as you said, deserve, and then as a mother, and then we go even above all of it and see everyone as a person, and then this respect. So I really liked how you connected all the dots, and yeah, I hope that through time, all of us will mature enough so that we can actually have our theology in practice the way it should be. So I think that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I can share my own experience in Krishna consciousness. When I joined Hare Krishna movement as a full-time brahmachari, I was very young, not even 20, 1990. I joined the temple in which temple president was a grihasta, and his wife was considered as his main assistant. And we naturally accepted her as authority too. And she was that balance, balance in the life of of her husband, balancing him and balancing the atmosphere in the temple too. And also, as a young missionary, I stayed for several months in Belgrade, in Serbia, where the main preacher was a lady. All public programs, Sunday feasts were given by Mahodari Mataji. her husband was also one of the leaders of the, not temple president, but one of the leaders. And being very educated, I think she had a degree in literature and philosophy, something like that. So she was very eloquent, very knowledgeable, and her appearance was very powerful. I mean, like, a woman as such is very, attractive in that sense. And when a woman is very powerful speaker, and it's like, it's unbelievable. And some brahmacharis didn't visit these classes due to foolish training. But I grew up in a temple where temple presidents were grihastas, and for me it was natural to listen also from the ladies too. And I remember this, this Sunday feast classes. She was really empowered, such a empowered preacher. And in that sense, we can see that Prabhupada also empowered his ladies disciples in every possible way. There's so many incidents. I mean, some of the most prominent example is like Yamuna Mataji or Govinda Dasi or Malati or Mataji. But Prabhupada didn't discriminate in this. Like, sannyasis are a powerful preacher and ladies should be in the kitchen, doing their. No, we have so many examples when in Surat or somewhere in India, many educated gentlemen, middle-aged gentlemen come for Prabhupada's program. Prabhupada seated in the public and instruct Yamuna to give a class. Because Prabhupada wanted to show the people how, when devotees are properly trained, no matter in which body they are, how old or young they are, they can be wonderful servants of Krishna. There is a beautiful example in I don't know which book I read it, of Malati Mataji, who, as a mother of young child, Saraswati, and a wife of the Shama Sundar, was a cook for Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur. And it was described that she had to fight with the treasurer to get enough money. Then she need to go from Mayapur over the Ganga to buy the grocery, and then she would cook, and it become. And Prabhupada always criticized her in a way, why this, why that, and she wanted to quit the service. And then Prabhupada had a meeting with his godbrothers, sannyasis from Gaudiya Math, and Malati entered to bring him tea or something. And Prabhupada stopped the conversation and he said, this is Malati. She's my disciple and my personal cook, and she would give my throat for me. And Prabhupada continued, and I would give mine for her. And when Malati heard this, she couldn't give up the service. But her idea was, it's too intense, I want to give up the service. And we can see from this incident that although being surrounded by Orthodox swamis who are in a mood of patriarchat, Prabhupada didn't miss opportunity to glorify his female disciples. And from this, we can learn that although sometimes in Prabhupada's purport, we can read things which could be understood controversially or influenced by his cultural background, but in his behavior towards his disciple, he was very respectful, very gentle, etc. There is also example, Shrutakirti Prabhu used to cook for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada gave him, they were in Radha Damodar temple, and Yamuna cooked something, and Prabhupada gave to Shrutakirti to try it. And he was like, wow, what is this? Such amazing prasadam. And he ate in till full pleasure. And then Prabhupada tell him, now you need to serve her for that. So, I mean, in many ways, Srila Prabhupada set example how to treat properly ladies, and to give like a same respect and same duties even. And I can talk so many things, and unfortunately as I said, we have a lot of these influences from Indian traditional background, which is not how to say the mood which Prabhupada set.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for sharing. And I just want to mention something that's important when talking about the wives of a Brahmana, and that is from Krishna book or Srimad Bhagavatam, the story when the
Yeah,
wives of the Brahmanas were the ones who actually gave food to Krishna, while the husbands were materially attached to performing sacrifices so that they can gain access to heavenly planets. So that's
yeah,
an example that at least ladies like to quote in the sense of how it doesn't matter in which body you are, um, to be Krishna conscious or to be advanced, as you know, as you already mentioned, that in a society there are certain roles, but in Krishna consciousness, we look things above the body, the gender, and so Krishna also in this example of Srimad Bhagavatam.
yeah. I mean, this story is so beautiful and so instructive in many ways. As you said, it's like a very plastic example how driven by so-called knowledge and rules and regulations, we can miss the main point, you know. And main point is to surrender to Krishna. And these brahmanas, they have been very educated, knowledgeable, and very expert in following the Brahmana Dharma, etc. But they miss the main point of doing their service. And what is Brahmana? Brahmana is one who is, how to say, immersed in the Brahman. And what is the Brahman? Brahman is Krishna. So if our service, our acquiring the knowledge and everything doesn't bring this result, then what's the use? It becomes like useless labor, we can say. But in the same time, like simple wives of the Brahmanas, when they heard that Krishna wants the food, they naturally gave the food. And it's interesting that actually they broke all the bridges to back to their families, etc. They came to surrender fully. And then Krishna, being so merciful, he sent them back. Why? To deliver their husbands. Being in association of a pure devotees, these brahmanas will be eventually also purified. Unfortunately, they understood this. And we see on the end of this chapter in the Krishna book, or when we read Bhagavatam, they started to glorify their wives, which is sometimes rare, but it's very important to understand how Krishna was merciful to them, that he decided to deliver them to their wives. So it's yeah, I mean, it's like there is a very interesting phenomena in Croatia, in Zagreb, capital of Croatia. Every first Saturday in the month, uh, men, believers, followers of Catholic tradition, they go to the main square of the capital, and they have like a ceremony, 2 hours praying, that their wives become humble, submissive, and many other things.
Yeah, I know what that.
And there is always contra protest against this, and it's foolish actually. They don't come to pray for their humility, for their, you know, being like reliable, etc. They assume that their wives are not good enough and they pray for them, but they don't understand, if we become like real surrendered souls, then our wives will naturally follow this example.
Yeah.
We don't need to change them, we need to change us. But it's very, sometimes very, how to say, it's like funny to see this wrong understanding of spirituality and social dealings and exchanges between genders. it doesn't go by force. It doesn't go by it becomes natural. When man is a real man, he is naturally followed by a woman. It's normal. It's just because ladies are by nature submissive. You don't need to force lady to be submissive. But why in a modern age ladies are, how to say, showing this other aspect of their personality, I mean assuming certain man qualities in order to survive. They need to develop. If the superiority of the power of the body and mind man doesn't use for serving but is using to exploiting, then lady needs to develop these qualities to protect herself. It's very interesting. I know that Prabhupada sometimes quoted the the how to say meaningless of feminism or such a things. But feminism is not something wrong. Feminism is a natural reaction to the degradation of the character and conduct of man. That's just natural thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not easy and cannot be forcefully changed. Only way to change this is that man becomes man again, that they work on themselves to become strong, mentally strong, intellectually strong by character, and strong by the spiritual advancement. And then naturally they will be followed by women. It's just natural thing. Because if we develop such qualities, then we develop qualities which are connecting us to Krishna. That means Krishna can manifest through us. And Krishna is all attractive. When Krishna is manifest through someone, then others are attracted to this.
Yeah.
This person. Anyway,
Thank you for sharing. I just wanted to say how that you mentioned this Croatian men who are praying on the main square, and my friend from high school, she's the one who is organizing contra
protests. Yeah.
with her like artistic exhibitions. So yeah, the world is a little bit upside down. And I also read today in the newspaper how sorry.
Are you here?
Sorry, just a second, because my phone is connected with my computer. Anyway, we can edit this, so it's fine. So I was saying that in the Ministry of the United States, in the United States government, they have an office for religion, and they're now drafting documents about how women should be submissive to men. So I just find it like, I don't know, funny how with I don't know, I don't know, they want to, as you said, like produce some things that are maybe natural for women by being aggressive and also not being what they should be in order for something that is natural for a woman to manifest itself naturally. So I would say like that. So that the whole world is definitely crazy. But anyway, I'm grateful that we have good examples um, in the world and in the Vedas of how things should be. And thank you so much for talking about the wives of Brahmanas and motherhood and protection of women and how actually it should be and what was the example of Srila Prabhupada. And for the last thing, I would like to ask you if you have any message for the Mother's Day for women or for mothers in the world. What would be your message?
I can say my message to ladies is thank you endlessly. But rest is a message for the man.
Okay, yeah, that's also they should hear it.
I don't have a message for the ladies. I could say I have a message for the leaders. I have a message for the men. Be kind, be strong, be real servant, and then everything comes naturally, actually. If we are really practicing Krishna consciousness properly, first result will be that we will be self-satisfied. We will not be driven by any wrong ambition in any direction. Another thing is that we will be in a mood of service. Dasasmi, everyone is Prabhu. And we will follow naturally the Dharma of the body also. I used to preach to brahmacharis in the temple when I was temple president, that besides the activities of brahmacharya life, you have also the duty of man's body. And duty of man's body is to give feeling of security to the ladies in a temple. How? By being gentleman, nice and respectful, being fixed up in Krishna consciousness, don't contemplate ladies as an object, and also don't neglect ladies or don't ignore ladies because you are brahmachari. Being brahmachari doesn't mean to ignore ladies. Being brahmachari means that we don't contemplate idea to freely mix with the ladies or to be in any way engaged in any, you know, like romantic or any other relationship. But we are fixed in Brahman, recognizing that this is also part of the Brahman, because every soul is a part of the Brahman in a body of the woman who is on their own quest for perfection or Krishna prema, and we should support each other according to the Dharma of, you know, ladies should protect men, but on the way to not, you know, flirt with men or to, you know, to in any way to try to get their attention, and men should protect ladies in the same way. To when they need support, I'm here, I can serve you what in any capacity you need, but in the same time I'm detached for any idea to be involved in any relationship except, you know, service, respect, etc. I know there are stories about Chota Haridas and others, you know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, who was rejected just because he came to ask the rice from widow lady for the Lord Chaitanya. But it's every story has certain meaning and teaching we need to understand. But it's not that we like generally implement different ideas out of the context. It should be in consideration with the context.
Thank you so much. That was a nice message. So thank you. So we have closed our topic for today. I would just to like remind everyone else that all the other content about other discussions about other six mothers according to the Vedas are available on our Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube. So thank you very much, and Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sundarananda Prabhu.
I feel honored and privileged to have opportunity to discuss with you about these important subject matters. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, I'm very happy that you spoke about it, because I think it's very important that men also speak about motherhood, protection of women, their experience, view, understanding, and also give example to the new generations to come. Because sometimes women are not taken seriously. You know, it's easy for a woman to talk about a woman, and
Yeah, it's
but
true.
when someone who should speak about women and who should actually give this right protection speaks about women, then it has weight. Yeah, has importance also. Of course, it doesn't mean that when women speak, that doesn't have importance. But unfortunately, we live in such a society that sometimes you're not taken seriously. So.
Yeah, it's true. I often discuss with my dear colleague and friend Mataji Adhika, who is part of our Bhakti Yoga Center community. She used to say, like, can you imagine if what I said now, some man said, it will be taken like, wow, very serious. But when I said this, it's just Adhika, it's just a woman. You know, it's very bad culture, actually. We are in the name of this supreme personal philosophy are acting very often so impersonal, and that's the great challenge. Actually, that's great room for improvement, we can say like this.
Yes. Thank you. So
Thank you.
Haribol.
All the best. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.